All right. Welcome this morning. Sorry for the. I'm going to get some music that goes with that little intro. It helps me get started to make sure everything is ready while you're not watching me like run around and be crazy. So, hopefully, James and Judy and Olivia, I know you're on so far. You can hear things now and you can see, and things are good. Anna's in. You are. All right. Good morning. So sounds like everything is good. Back ready. Things are working. So good morning, Olivia. Good morning, James, Anna, and Judy. This morning, yeah, I'm in the shop again, trying to. Look, I need to get some stuff done. There's some things, but I am super excited to be able to get some things done and get out here and get going. I know it's Tuesday. I may have said it's Monday. Everything's all messed up. But Jody Nelson, so Keely and JC, good morning. I don't know if anybody else is watching on the Nelson family, but Christy, good morning. Larry, I should get some elevator music. That's what I should do. You know, I listen to what people would call as elevator music most of the time. So if I have my headphones in, there's a good chance I'm listening to Lecrae or Trip or Andy or somebody from the 116, maybe some NF, you know, some things like that. I love worship music, we're in collective and those things. But I will say at least half of the time that I have my headphones on, I'm just listening to ambient music. So that's just something about me. Like I love ambient music and I love like medieval, Midwest, you know, or not Midwestern, but medieval, that time frame. So Scottish, you know, something to that nature. I really enjoy that. So I listen to a lot of ambient music that's from those things, you know, whether there's like a video game or something that's out there like that, you know, that I play. I don't get to play as much, but I used to play a lot of like World of Warcraft. I used to watch I still watch it every now and then, but the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit. So I love music from that genre, that style. So Jody says no elevator music. Need something to wake up. All right, well we could do some wake up songs. Too, we could mix it up. Maybe we just throw a scream in there every now and then in the middle. That'll wake you up, right? Shirley Bikeman, good morning. So let me put up some of these good mornings just so we can share, because I know people on Facebook can't see the people on YouTube. So that's Anna. Then we have James saying good morning. That's my dad, James. Olivia saying good morning. Olivia Stringer, that is Jody Nelson and the girls there. We got Christy Watson. Larry never said good morning, so I'm not going to put his thing up there. Shirley Pikeman is saying good morning. So now Larry is going to end up probably yelling at me, but that's okay. This morning, and I hope everybody had a good Monday, Labor Day, being able to rest a little bit, hopefully. I was trying to get on. I know it was super short yesterday. Susie wanted to help me out, and so if you haven't seen that, I mean, again, it's super short, but Susie wanted to tell people not to lie. That was from Rachel, and I know Rachel put some comments on there later that we did have the right verse, so I'm super excited about that. We're able to, continue building on what is built here with the Sunday school and some of the teachers. And so, again, just thank you for all of that. Thank you for anybody who's pouring into our kids' lives and all of our kids, not just mine, but everybody else's. So now, see, told you, Larry would say good morning. For those of you who don't know, when you see Alyssa Gilmore, that is Larry. He does not have his own Facebook account, so he uses his wife's. And that's okay. It's a good thing. We're just glad that he's here. Judy Marsh. Oh, Judy said, oh, I didn't say you. Judy, I'm sorry. You had said you were watching, and I didn't put it on there, but I did now. I caught it. So, good morning. I'm so glad everybody is here today with us this morning. And so, Philippians chapter 3 is where I want to be at. Rachel's here. Why a sad face? Rachel, I'm sharing your sad face. Don't be sad. Oh, wait, is that a happy face? I don't. You're blushing. Is that what that is? Yeah, maybe it's a blushing face. But she says good morning too. So, anyway, Philippians chapter 3, verse 12. Philippians chapter 3, verse 12, where I want to be at this morning, just a couple of verses here. And again, I tell you, I share with you what I'm, either going through, what I'm devotions are, what's happening. So some of these are raw, some of these are real. This morning hasn't been the best. Nothing's wrong. Everything's okay. But just Satan loves attacking in different areas and messing things up and getting brain distracted and putting just all kinds of craziness and attacking anyway. And it's important. I could have sat here and talked to you about the armor of God and why it's important that every morning we wake up. And I did. This morning I was up early. I was reading and I was doing. And I think Satan's like, "All right, you're up. You ready to fight? Let's go." So he did, and it's just, it's okay. The morning is fine. I don't want anyone to think that everything's bad. There's nothing bad. It's just a battle, and that's why this verse came up, and that's why I want to share it with you this morning. Just trying to give you some pretense. Kathy Wood is here with us this morning, and so glad to have everybody here. And that, again, I just creating some context on why when I speak about this verse, and I'm going to share a little poem thing that I found. I just want you to know everything's okay. There's nothing wrong. It's just that Satan likes attack sometimes and everything else. But here's what Paul says in Philippians chapter 3, starting in verse 12. "Not that I have already obtained this or am already perfect." So I love that Paul, even though these are inspired words of God's, right? He's putting in his own personal touch. His humanity is coming through, which is great. It's fantastic. We need that. We need the humanity of what Paul is saying here. And so he's talking. He says, "Not that I've already obtained this." Paul's going to clearly mark it out. Like, I have not achieved sanctification yet. I have not achieved perfection yet. What he says is, I've not already obtained this. I am not already perfect, but I press on to make it my own. That perfection, that sanctification, that glory at the end of the day, because Christ Jesus has made me his own. Not doing this on my own account, Paul says. I'm not stretching towards anything. We're going to see the word stretching here, which is the word that kind of gets me this morning. But he's pressing on because Christ Jesus has made me his own. It's because of what Christ has done. This is why Paul pushes forward. This is why he's trying to obtain it. He's pressing on. Because Christ Jesus made his own. 13. "Brothers, I do not consider that I have made it my own. But one thing I do, forgetting what lies behind and straining forward to what lies ahead, I press on toward the goal for the prize of the upward call of God in Christ Jesus. Let those of us who are mature think this way, and if anything you think otherwise, God will reveal that to you also. Only let us hold true to what we have attained." Paul goes on to telling us to imitate people that are doing the right thing and paying attention to those people and listening to those people and learning from those people. Kind of a call out to the church of Philippians. Listen to your leaders. Do what they say. Follow them that are following correct. But what Paul is saying, and the thing I want to focus in on right now this morning, is that he says, forgetting what lies behind. And I love the verse here in the word here in the ESV. Straining forward to what lies ahead. And I've been involved in some sports and things of this nature, and there have been times where it is a battle to move forward. It is a battle to continue. And I know that some of you, and again, knowing you personally, and some of you I don't know, but I assume that there have been times things in your life that you've had to stretch, that you've had to work for, that you've had to push for, that you've had to earn, right? There's a straining, there's an effort that has to be given. And I remember one of the things in particular in basketball, we had these things called We referred to them as 16 sidelines. I've heard them called different things. We had to go back and forth from the sideline of the basketball court 16 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 8 complete total back and forths. And you had to do it in less than a minute. And it was so hard. And it was so challenging to do this. And so the problem, though, happened that what Coach would make us do is that if we didn't get it the first time, he'd give us a little bit of a break, not much, but then we'd have to do it again. And we kept doing it until we got it. And so there was a straining, you're getting to 13, 14, and Larry here saying he hated 16. So you get it. You get to that last two, and your legs, they're dying, they're burning. It's hard. Like you just want to quit. And so you don't. You strain toward that prize. And here's the thing is that, this idea of this being mature, what would happen is, there would be some that were a little bit more athletic, and so they would get it maybe the first time. I think most of the time I was in the group that got it first time. There's a couple times maybe I didn't push myself in the way I needed to. But I say that to say this, that there were times then when those that got them done, you had to turn around and then you cheered on those that were still doing it. You cheered on those ones that had to make it a second time. You had to cheer on those that were still in the race, that were still doing it and straining towards them. And you could see it. You could see that there was an effort. There was a push to do it. And so this idea as Christians, and again, the Christian walk, sometimes it takes straining. And there were times in basketball, there were times in conditioning, there were times in life that we can go and we can just do our thing and everything seems to be going well. And then there's times that are a little different. There are times that they're work and it's effort, and you have to put in some extra attention, and you have to put in some extra, just that power behind you. And then sometimes you don't have it. Sometimes you need that cheering section that's cheering for you to say, let's make it, let's strain, let's do this. Now, one of the things that Paul says here, which is very important, is that you will never, ever, ever finish a race watching behind you. You just won't. You won't be able to make your goal. You can't run a 16. You can't run a marathon. You can't run anything if you're constantly looking behind you. You will never finish the way you were supposed to finish, because you're looking behind you. You're constantly trying to figure out. I didn't need to know how long it took me from getting to 12 to 13 or from 13 to 14. What I needed to know is that I needed to get to 15 as fast as possible, and I needed to get to 16 as fast as possible. It didn't help me looking at the clock. It used to be the way I did it. When I first started doing these, I would run the clock and I'd look at them and say, I'm at 20 seconds in and I'm at 9. I'm going to be good. I can ease up a little bit. And those are times I usually didn't finish the time I needed to finish. Because it does. It gets a little bit harder as you go on. You might get 8 in the first 20, but it's going to take you another 40 to 50 to get that next 8. And it's just the way life works sometimes. Sometimes it is a little easier. We take off and we're running and we're sprinters, right? But Paul says, listen, in the long day, this life isn't a sprint. This life is not something that just, it's quick and then we get up and we get done. Life is a marathon. It's a long distance run. And I know I have some long distance runners here. I know I do. And it takes effort and mindset to be like, okay, even if I need to sprint for a while, even if I need to get going for a while, I need to get out of a space, or I need to sprint up this hill, or I need to do this thing. Yeah, I run for a little while, but I gotta watch it. I gotta keep going. I gotta keep pushing. One of the best commercials in the world, and I try not to be super emotional, but one of the best commercials in the world, I think it was a Snickers commercial. I don't remember who did it, which is fine. But everybody's cleaning up at the end of a race. They're cleaning up and they're tearing down the signs. It's nighttime and they're cleaning trash and everything else. And then in the distance, one of the cleanup people sees somebody running, barely making it. His knees are bleeding. He's out of breath. He's tired, but he's moving. and he's moving towards the end. And so these cleaners, they see him and they kind of communicate to each other. They stop cleaning. They hang the sign back up. They get the sign back up, and they all line up. And this is these cleaners, right? It's not their job. But they all line up, and they're clapping. They're cheering this guy on as he finishes the race. And this is what we should be doing as mature believers. We should be cheering on people that are finishing the race. They might be going a little bit slower than we did. That's okay. They might be at a little bit different pace than we are. And then in our lives, there are times where we run faster, we catch things on quicker. Maybe there's something you're battling in your life, and you're like, I wish I could get through this. I normally get through all of these things super fast. Maybe fear used to be something for you, and you just quickly were able to get over your fear and trust God and do that. Maybe anxiety was something that you had for a little while, or when it comes up, you're easily able to get rid of it. Maybe a sexual sin is something that is easy for you to get past. Maybe it's okay for you to push on and say, okay, that's in my mind, it's out of my mind, I can move on through it. Hatred, anger, all of these things. Maybe these are things that are easy for you, but one of those things might be super hard for you. And you might find yourself pushing through, and it's like, I'm battling this. I've been battling this for years. I've been battling this for a long time, and I can't get through it. I can't push through it. This is hard. I'm struggling. And what Paul would say, and the encouragement here and the challenge is, don't stop. Just keep pressing on. That's the goal. The goal is just to be further down the road tomorrow than you were today. Doesn't matter how far down the road. And sometimes we need encouragement. Sometimes we're being lazy. And I'm not talking about being lazy this morning. I could talk about that another day. If you're not growing, and you're not willing to grow, and you're not wanting to grow, that's a whole other thing. I'm talking about, but you're wanting to. And you're like, man, I'm barely taking a step. But you're barely taking a step. You're moving forward. There's a step, there's a progress. Yeah, but now I feel like I'm 2 steps backwards. Okay, let's go another step forward then. And let's figure out, let's look at it. We don't need to worry about all of these things that are in our lives, these constant pushbacks, these constant things. We need to continue pressing on. I know I'm going to go a little bit long, and so I want to read this to you. It looks like this is, I don't even know who this is from, so I'm sorry, I don't know who this is from. This is what it says. Have you missed in your aim? Well, the mark is still shining. Did you faint in the race? Well, take breath for the next. Did the clouds drive you back? But see yonder their lining. Were you tempted and fell? Let it serve for a text. As each year hurries by, let it join that procession of skeleton shapes that march down to the past, while you take your place in the line of progression. With your eyes on the heavens, your face to the blast, I tell you the future can hold no terrors. For any sad soul while the stars revolve, if he will but stand firm on the grave of his errors, and instead of regretting, resolve. It's never too late to begin rebuilding. Though all into ruins your life seems hurled, for look how light of the new day is gilding the worn, wan face of this bruised old world. Every morning, the sun shines. I don't know if you have watched a sunrise lately, but go look. It's amazing. It's beautiful. And it's a reminder that every day is a new day. His mercies are new every morning. Doesn't matter what's going on in your past. Let your past go down, is what it says. Let it go down in the progression. Let the skeletons of your past go down. You stand on the grave of your errors and say, this is the past. I'm moving forward. This is what we need to do. This is what Paul is saying here in Philippians 3. Pressing on, straining towards that mark, because Christ did it for us. He gave us an example to do it. Christ never had a lapse, and I know, I get that, and I understand that. But don't for one time, don't for one moment think that his trip, his walk towards Golgotha was anything less than the worst challenge that we would ever face. more temptation there than we will ever know. Because at any moment he could have ended it. At any moment he could have stopped. At any moment he could have said no. We don't have that power sometimes. There are some times in our lives we're going towards something we don't have the ability to say no. He did. And it was there. And Satan constantly right next to him. Just end it. Just stop this. You don't have to go through this. You don't have to be in this pain. You don't have to go through it. And he says, no, I'm going to, because this is what my Father wants. It's not my will but yours. And he strained towards it. He pushed towards it. And I would say to you this morning, the challenge is, I don't know what's in your life. I don't know what's going on. Keep pushing. Keep straining. Keep pressing on. And here's the great thing that we have. And again, there's always a challenge. There's an encouragement. God is right there with us. I quoted something on Facebook this morning, and I'm going to end with this, a Lecrae song that I've been listening to a lot lately, not just for any real reason, but just I enjoy this song that Lecrae says. But this is what he says in this song. And again, I'm going to end with this. I know I went a little longer today. He says, but God said, hold up, I got it, I do this. And he lifted my head up and he helped me get to it. He gave me the beauty for my ashes, I blew it though. I thought I was ruined. He just started renewing. I look at my life, I'm like, what is you doing? He look at my life, he's like, I already knew it. And yet I still love you. I'm walking you through it. Your actions are foolish, but I know you're human. God knew everything that was going to face us. God knew all of the challenges that we were going to have. He knew all the struggles that we were going to have. He knew how many failures we were going to have. He knew how many times it was going to take us to get up. He knew all of it, and he still did it for us. He still loves you. He still cares for you. And he's still there walking you through it. If you can't be encouraged by that, I don't know how to encourage you. He is there. When Satan says, look at this bad thing, God says, I know, look at the bad thing. It's back there. We're going this way. Let's not go back there. And I'll walk you through it. I'll show you how. And when we fall, he says, let's go. Let's get back up. You're human. I get it. I'm not mad. Let's go. Let's keep going. And Jody just said, and it was one of my next things I was going to say. If you haven't seen Finding Dory or Finding Nemo, whatever one it's in, you just got to keep swimming. Keep pressing on. Keep swimming. Keep striving. Let God do it. He will. I love you guys so much. Hopefully that's an encouragement for you this morning. Again, a little bit of a challenge and encouragement. I will see you guys back here tomorrow at 10, and I'll work on the music. We'll see. Elevator, exciting, screaming, I don't know. But see you guys tomorrow. Bye.